Good evening, everyone. Good evening. There we go. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. There we go. It's great to be here tonight, even though I am physically distanced enough. I'm going to leave my mask on because I want to keep that as a good example of what we should be doing, physically distancing and keeping my mask on at all times. But I want to say thank you for being here tonight. And I was speaking to a few of the folks in the crowd tonight, and for me, this is what public servants is all about. These types of programs that we're opening up tonight and we're going to start tonight. This is what it's all about. This is about looking out for others and loving your neighbor, loving your neighborhood, and loving Dothan. I love the things that the city manager came up with, and we were excited about this program. We're tickled about this program. And so I want to say thank you to all of you that came out tonight. We're all spread out very far, and so, but it's good to see your faces. I think I can see your hearts tonight and what you believe in and what you think is good things for our community. And that means a lot to me, and it means a lot to our city commission and our staff and those that have worked on this program. So we're excited about it. We're glad you're here. We're those that you are on Zoom or watching in on Facebook Live, whatever media we got going on. Thank you also for tuning in as well. Great things are going to come from this program, and so extremely excited about that. Commissioner Janaski Fleming is going to come up now, and he's going to say a few words as well. But thank you. Appreciate you being here.
Good afternoon. As the mayor said, we're extremely proud to have this program come to Dothan. We'd like to thank our city manager, Mr. Kevin Cowper, for having this idea. A few years ago, when I was elected in 2017, myself and Michael Jackson of Aunt Katie's Garden and Pastor Charlie Lynn and Kenyatta, we got together and started this group called the Baptist Bottom Improvement Association. And the mayor came in and joined in with us with Miss Angie, and we've gone around, we've cleaned up a couple of yards, and we've given out school supplies and had little functions, and Hawk Houston Youth Enrichment Center done some events with the group as well down there, and it's really gone over well. So when Mr. Cowper started and we looked over the Love Dothan campaign and looked over the Love Neighborhood portion of it, and we found out that Baptist Bottom would be the first neighborhood we're as proud as we can be of. It is a neighborhood rich in history and tradition, and we're just proud to start it off there, and we're going to be excited for all of the inhabitants of the Baptist Bottom. City manager has a detailed plan, he and Todd, to go over what parameters and the things that are going to be covered. And I, as a city commissioner, as a citizen of Dothan, I'm excited about it. Those of you that are watching online and those of you that are here, we want you to be excited about it as well. And hopefully it will be an example of what will take place in other neighborhoods throughout Dothan. And again, as the mayor said, to be a servant is the best thing. And we've already been overwhelmed with volunteers. Tonight's the first meeting, and we already have a strong set of volunteers, and that's what we're looking for everyone in the neighborhood that, of course, would like to pitch back into making their neighborhood better and making the quality of life better for residents of Dothan. And that's what we should be about, and that's what this commission and that's what this leadership in Dothan and the government is about, making the quality of life better. So again, thank all of you for being here. Thank all of you for watching online, and please enjoy the display. Thank you.
Thanks for being here tonight. Question I always ask, do you love Dothan?
Yes.
Yes, sir, we love Dothan. I appreciate everybody being here tonight, and I'm really excited to get this campaign kicked off. And we're going to be talking a lot about neighborhoods tonight. Love your neighborhood. Love Your Neighbor. I can't really think of a more opportune time to be kicking off this initiative. It's the right initiative at the right time. So this has been dubbed the Wheel of Love. This is the Love Dothan program and several different aspects of that program. We're going to focus in tonight on Love Your Neighbor, Love Your Neighborhood. And that's two of the key principles of this strategic plan. Others include loving your city workforce, loving downtown, loving your orange barrels in construction, all of those things that go into making Dothan the great city that it is. And these are all strategies to help us improve on what is already a great city. So, let me talk a little bit about both the Love Your Neighbor and Love Your Neighborhood strategies. The Love Your Neighbor is about building social capacity in neighborhoods. It's about communication. It's about the way that the city communicates with its neighborhoods and the way that we provide access to government services, the way that we connect people to the government, we connect people to resources, we connect people to community. Government cannot solve every problem. You that are in this room tonight are going to help solve some of the problems. So we know that there are issues in our neighborhoods, both structural issues, blighted slum conditions that we need to address, but we also know that there are social issues in our neighborhoods. And the Love Your Neighbor is about addressing some of those social issues, whether that's crime or education, a lot of issues that I think we're all familiar with. So, Love Your Neighborhood is about the physical condition of neighborhoods. We have in Dothan neighborhoods across the spectrum. We have traditional neighborhoods with houses that are 100+ years in them. These are traditional grid pattern streets, a lot of what are referred to as shotgun houses, older housing stock. And some of it has been well preserved, but a lot of it is in very poor condition. And as the growth patterns emerge in Dothan and new neighborhoods grew up on the outside of town, people kind of moved around and left some of the older neighborhoods in favor of the newer neighborhoods. And we started to see some blighting decline. And these are the kind of conditions that we see. Every city council or city commission meeting agenda, it seems that there is an item there to tear down some blighted structures, some blighted residential structures. And we really need to stop tearing down our neighborhoods. We need to build up our neighborhoods, and we need to preserve as many of these structures as we possibly can. If we don't act now, it will be too late to save these neighborhoods. Today, I'm very proud that the commission approved some new zoning regulations dealing with neighborhood commercial activities. Little corner grocery marts that long served as really the only place where a lot of people could get groceries. A little corner mart, you could walk down there and pretty much get everything that you needed. Over the years, those little stores have essentially been zoned out of existence, and most of them now are in dilapidated condition. We saw that need. Our folks in our planning department proposed some regulations to revitalize and re-energize those old commercial structures. And we're really excited that the commission approved that today. That's a real solid move forward in removing regulatory barriers out of the way so that our neighborhoods can grow and thrive. But as I said, we've got neighborhoods that are great, and we've got neighborhoods that are in poor condition. And we're going to have to spend some time and resources making sure that we stabilize our neighborhoods and that we keep our neighborhoods in good condition, so that everybody has a decent place to live and a decent neighborhood to grow up in. Ultimately, this is where we're headed, and this program, the Neighborhood Cleanup Program, is a big part of this. This is going to be a concerted effort, a partnership between the city, volunteer organizations, and neighborhoods. And in this case, the Baptist Bottom neighborhood is the first neighborhood we've selected for this program. This program will bring all of the city's resources to bear over probably a month or so time period, where we will go into the neighborhood, we will clean up our infrastructure, our sidewalks, our streets, our street lights, our stop signs, our street signs, anything and everything that is public, we will improve. We will get it into the condition that it needs to be in, because we understand that if we expect a neighborhood to keep their homes clean, to keep their yards clean, and to take pride in their neighborhood, we have to also take pride in the infrastructure that we have, whether that is a park facility or something as simple as making sure that the sidewalks are maintained in good condition. This is also, though, about helping, again, people connect resources with communities. So we understand that a lot of people that live in blighted homes or in homes that are in poor condition don't have the resources that they need to properly maintain their property, whether that's financial constraints or physical constraints. Those are real. And so we are counting on a lot of volunteer help to go into these neighborhoods and to help people help themselves and help their neighborhood. Ultimately, we think this is the way to approach these issues and these problems, but we want this ultimately to be sustainable. This is not something that we can do every year. We want to go into a neighborhood, we want to make an impact, and we want to leave the neighborhood with the ability to continue to sustain itself going forward. And again, that goes back to love your neighbor and building that social capacity, communicating, connecting people with resources. So this is a big program. It's a very ambitious program. It's going to take everybody to make it work, and the volunteers are going to be a huge part of this program, and we want to keep that going. We want it to be, again, we want it to be sustainable. We don't want to just clean up, leave, and then be right back in the same condition that we were before we were there. So the sustaining part will be very key going forward. So thank you for your attendance at the meeting tonight. I'm going to turn it over to Todd McDonald and then Randy Morris, and they're going to give you some more details about the program and what you can do to help. Thank you very much.
Make my LEDs work. Sometimes they object to going up the stairs. My role in this is basically to gather the data, kind of understand how to approach this project. So one of the first things we did was meet Randy and Vincent and city manager, and we tried to understand what parts of our community probably needed to be need to be addressed. So what we did is we drove around. You probably saw us driving around the city looking, and we concluded that the Baptist Bottoms was probably our best shot at opening this program. So we were looking for a neighborhood with a whole range of issues that we could help with, as well as the whether that neighborhood had leadership in place. Commissioner Fleming is one of those, Mr. Jackson is one of those, Althea Newman from Hawk Houston, she's one of our community leaders. So this is the area that we decided to approach. You can see the yellow line around the map. That's Walnut there. This is Montana, down to West Powell, across to, it's not Alice, this is Alice here. Anyway, come up to Chickasaw and back up to Walnut. This is McCrae Homes. This is Hawk Houston here. And this is First Missionary Baptist Church. Aunt Katie's Garden is here. If y'all were listening this morning to the commission, they accepted a grant that we just got from the EPA to help us clean up that little parcel there with the intent of providing some expansion opportunities for NKs. So that's pretty much the neighborhood that we settled on. We've got a strong presence on the west side, and we got a natural barrier. Montana's a big major street, as well as south, and Walnut seems to be the best opportunity in the north. So you probably saw us, or some of you did, riding around. My building inspectors were doing a canvas of the neighborhood, looking for a variety of different issues that we could connect some resources to. And they were looking at maintenance issues on the buildings. They were looking at overgrown yards, which is this time of year is a problem all over the city. Specifically looking for opportunities for where we could remove some junk or appliances, furniture, broken down cars, etc. So this is what they were doing, and we had a lot of folks that were calling and asking about that. But we carefully cataloged all the different addresses because what we had wanted to do at the end of the day was be able to provide our fire department a list of addresses where we knew we didn't have 911 addresses, and this is, after all, a public safety connection. So we did that as part of the survey. But you can see the counts of other things that we looked at. We found overgrown lots, only a couple of houses that met our definition of where we start looking at where we debate the property or not. Abandoned vehicles seems to be a big one, as well as a lot of rubbish and junk. And this is where the volunteers come in to help get this material out to the street, so we can use our street crews to pick it up. So that concludes my little portion of this talk tonight. I think Randy is going to, Charles is going to follow up and talk some more. You want the corner?
Yes.
There's two different. That's the big.
Good evening. I'm Charles Metzger. I'm the Public Works Director with the City of Dothan. Obviously, public in the word, that's what we do. We maintain the traffic signals, all the traffic engineering division, all the signs, markings. Street division maintains sidewalks, curbing, ditches, cuts grass, asphalt. So, and then we have the environmental service division that maintains or picks up. We have the landfill. We pick up your garbage, trash. So we're a big part of what this is all about, to actually kind of boots on the ground and try to get in here and clean things up. One of the things that struck me about this and thinking about it is, you hear the term, well, there goes the neighborhood. Well, what we want to do is say, well, here comes the neighborhood. Okay, that's what we want. We want to help work through this with this program to do a better job to bring people into neighborhoods and improve what's there. We plan to get in there. We already sweep the streets. It's hard to speak with this, but we're trying to make a concerted effort in this area to try to get through, clean them up. We'll be cleaning out storm drains, things like that. We're going through, we're already making new street name signs and things that need to be replaced, upgrading those with our traffic engineering division. They'll also be looking at any foreign paint and things and markings on streets, crosswalks, stop bars and things like that. We'll also be working and looking, we've identified the broken sidewalks and areas that need to be replaced. Obviously, we'll look at resurfacing or repairing potholes and alligator cracking in roads. We do have a citywide resurfacing program that we try to look at streets that are in bad condition each year and do as many as we can. Obviously, curb and gutter that handles storm drains and things like that, and we'll be cleaning out storm drains and ditches as part of the program. One of the big things for the volunteer day that we're looking at is with our environmental service division that obviously picks up your garbage and trash. We're trying to have it set up for that day where we'll have categories where people that bring, we're really wanting to broke out into like 3 different sections, but the trash and leaves and things like that, treated and untreated wood, carpeting, tile, other things like that, we can take them directly to our landfill that we've just gotten back or we're just opening permitted for. So we'll be able to take that material through our construction and debris type material all the way down through the brick and block and concrete. The scrap metal, when people have appliances and other things that they want to get rid of, anything metal, scrap metal things, we can take care of those and actually take them to Schnitzer's and get them out of the way for people like that on yard equipment, metal furniture, things like that. We'll also do that. And then if somebody's bringing out chemicals, household chemicals, paint, pesticides, and other things like that, we can take those. We'd rather have them separated. We can take those directly to our landfill. So we're excited about the program. I think that's all I've got, but Randy Morris will talk to you. But we're excited and we're ready to go to work. We're constantly trying to work for the public and try to do a good job with them. This kind of intensifies an area that we can get into and hit at one time. So thank you.
Thank you, Charles. I'm Randy Morris, I'm the assistant city manager, and Public Works has a really big role in this, but a lot of the other city departments also have a large role with this cleanup. In general services, one of the things they'll be doing is looking at getting everything nice and neat on the right of way, helping cut where it needs to be cut, edging where you have grass growing over the curbs and all. Looking at possible areas where a tree would be a good choice in a neighbor's yard, and then we'll be able to, with their permission, maybe help plant a tree. Dothan Utilities, they've got a lot of infrastructure there as well. You've probably seen the cutting that they do all around town with power lines, overhead power lines. They'll be doing that. Cutting any other debris that's along the right of way that needs it, getting rid of any kind of dead trees on the right of way. The water department will be repainting all the fire hydrants so that they show up well whenever the fire department needs to show up and help fight a fire at someone's residence or business. Along with that, you've seen in a lot of areas they've changed out some of the old street lights to LEDs. We're going to be looking at changing out a lot of the lights in this area to LEDs. Any old poles that may be in a sidewalk now, we're going to shift it so that you've got a good, nice wide sidewalk, as well as any of the utility poles that look bad or structurally deficient. We'll get those changed out as well. Fire department, Todd mentioned it some about the E911 address. That's important for whenever someone calls and needs emergency services, whether it's police or fire or ambulance. We want to make sure that these residents are easily located so that they can get there as quick as they can and provide the service. You see I've got future along install smoke detectors and performing safety checks. That's another thing that the fire department typically does. But right now with COVID, we are not wanting to do that just for the safety of the residents as well as the safety of our firefighters. But once things settle down and we can start going back to those normal programs, we want to be able to do that. As far as city administration and city commission, big thing's going to be coordinating with the neighborhood, with the community leaders, getting out what we're trying to do, and working with our friends in the press as well as social media, and make sure everyone knows why all of a sudden there's a whole lot of city crews out here working in our neighborhood, and as well as coordinating all the volunteer efforts for the actual cleanup day. Most of you know Vincent, our community relations officer. He wasn't able to be with us tonight, but he's probably contacted a lot of you. If you're a volunteer organization that wants to help and you've not been contacted yet, there's a sign-up sheet on the table on the way out, as well as some of Vincent's business cards, so that you've got a contact person. But if you would, please sign up so we know who all is interested in being able to help with the actual cleanup. What kind of work are we looking at from our volunteers? Well, it was hit on some. The big thing is to help the residents that need help getting anything that they want to get rid of, whether it's cleaning brush out of the yard or bringing any kind of junk or anything else that over the years is collected and they'd like to get rid of it. You know, we want our volunteers to help get that out to the road, and then Charles's crews with environmental, they'll come by and pick it up. Who all can volunteer? We've got it open. We want any kind of community groups, any kind of organizations, anybody that wants to help their fellow man and their fellow Dothan neighbors. What kind of time frame we're looking at? We are wanting to do this fairly quick. We would like to kick it off as far as the actual cleanup day around August 15th. That's a few weeks from now, but one of the things we want to do is float that date out there to all the organizations that's going to be helping us with volunteers, and see if you think that's doable, if we need to push it or whatever. So we welcome any input you have on it. Once tonight's over, we'll be sending out a postcard to all the residents that are in the area that we're concentrating on, telling them what we're going to be doing, similar to what we've done tonight, telling you what kind of city impact is going to be going on, as well as when the cleanup day will be, and what we'd like to do with helping them clean up their yards, as well as getting them to help us with it. The city crews, they'll be getting started soon. A lot of the work they do takes a great amount of time. As far as all the stuff that we went over, they'll be starting that before the cleanup day, and even going a few weeks after, more than likely. And some things, it may be a continuous, and it may even take a couple months to get everything wound up the way we'd like to get it wound up. But that's our program in a nutshell, and I'd leave it open to questions. We got a mic up here. If you want to step up and ask a question, or stand where you are and shout, that's fine too. Yes, sir.
I have an issue about the street department. I've been calling down there, asking them about a hole that they dug and fixed some pipes, and it's been there over like 5 months now. They hadn't came back and blacktopped it. They keep telling me they didn't do it, but I was sitting on the porch at 907 Blackshear Street, watching them do it,
Okay.
and it still hadn't been did yet.
All right. I'll get with you after the presentation's over, and get the address and everything, and we'll look into it for you.
Okay then, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
So has the surveying and development that has been done for the entire city, the numbers that were presented, the 58 overall lots, is that just for that first neighborhood, or is that for, does that encompass everything?
No, ma'am, that's just the neighborhood that, in the area that we were looking at.
Okay, thank you.
How are you gonna coordinate all the volunteers? Are everybody just gonna show up and park on the street, or?
No, sir, we hope to have it a little more organized than that. What we're going to be getting is the information from what residents need, what help. That way we know who, and once we know what volunteers, what kind of capacity they have, whether it's cleaning up or what their capabilities are, we'll coordinate those particular volunteers with what's needed at the different areas. Yes, ma'am.
Who's going to maintain or head up the sustainability portion? Is there some training that's going to be involved, or how is that going to be administered and kept up with?
Well, what we are hoping with this is that with getting the community together and getting them talking to one another and having the ability to send information out to the community as a whole, that they'll want to keep up what they've got cleaned up. And once they see how their neighbors' yards looking, others will want to get involved with it as well. Yes, ma'am.
Will the community members get a say in what they think needs to be done in the community?
Absolutely. What we would, that's part of what some of our community leaders, when they're talking with the residents, you know, this is what we see that we think we can help with. If there's other things that need to be addressed, if it's not something we can do ourselves, it's something that we can partner with some other organizations that may be able to help with those needs. All right. Well, again, thank you all very much for coming out tonight. This is the kind of program that we can all be proud of, and it's one of the programs that we absolutely could not get done without our cooperation of our neighborhoods, as well as the volunteer organizations that help make something like this a success. Yes, sir.
Quick question, is it possible to get digital copies of these lines?
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, well, thank you all very much.